Today is Friday, the 5th of June 2026, and my name is Francisco Gaffney, and this is my daily streaming all about governance, risk, compliance, and advisory boards. Today we have a busy day because we are going to cover the edge section of the model, which is on the left, your transformation, your renovation, or your reinvention, the innovation, that what makes you relevant in the not only in today's market with all this AI hype, etc., also for the coming future. And this is the edge stage where you are in the uncertainty, the ambiguity, what's coming next. And as you see in the model, this stage connects with the strategy and performance. That is right, because strategy only matters if it improves performance. And performance only lasts if the business keeps renewing itself, right? So this is where many founder-led companies get uncomfortable, and probably it's your case, because you're not failing, you are making money, you have clients, you have a very good team, you have a history behind you, and you have a reputation. So you have proof that your model works. So the temptation is to keep polishing the old model, the old glories, as they said. A little more sales, a little more marketing, a little more of hiring, a little more efficiency. All that is very useful, but sometimes the business does not need more polishing. It needs a rethinking, but not a reckless rethinking, as the people think about rethinking and say, oh, we have to change everything. No, you don't have to. Innovation, studies already show that. Innovation sometimes is 2-3% different and very close to the things that you're already doing. And there's many reasons for that. The main one is that things are innovating is surprising people, but still very familiar to whatever they are used to. So if you go into something that is completely 180 degrees to what they are doing, probably the innovation is like, no, I don't like it. I don't, no, it's not for me. And the perfect example is Ferrari's electric vehicle that was launched last week. So you see how polarized the world become with first the color, second the shaping, the electric vehicle. Ferrari famous being motor engine first, performance, sport car, and now going to electric vehicles, and people goes like, no, I don't like it. It's not for me. This is not what I'm looking for into the Ferrari. I don't know how many people can afford that vehicle. What definitely know is actually in terms of opinions, the world made their opinion and very strongly, and then they compare it with another super sport car made in China that it cost 75% less of a Ferrari, and actually the performances, the design, the look, and everything is like a way more acceptable and better because it's close to what that company was doing in terms of innovation in electric vehicles. So they rethinking was about this is we are an electric vehicle company. We are going to do something astonishing in terms of this line of business, electric vehicles. Ferrari was in the line of all superpower engines, performance, speed, and Le Mans, you name it. And all of a sudden, electric vehicles so went to a completely different direction, and people go like, "What is far enough for the result?" It is not. You put a Ferrari and the other guys beside it, it's exactly the same concept in terms of electric vehicles, but where they are coming from, the rethinking probably is the shock. Now, time will tell, as everything else. So perhaps it's a shock today. We'll see in time if this is going to be a flop or not. But guess what? The stock market already made their judgment, and Ferrari stock went down by 25%, I think. So probably how much will take to regain that 25% in the Ferrari stock in the market? We don't know, but it's an interesting thing. But I think that this clearly illustrates how rethinking your business is not a reckless thinking, or could be a reckless thinking, and perhaps is compensated in the future. But today, in terms of your performances, your strategy, you have to be very careful how you do things, what you do. So This is what I call a governed rethinking. That is what the age stage is about in the advisory board operating system that we have here in the screen. So let's take a look at three problems you may experience right now. So problem number one is that yesterday's strength is becoming today's drag, right? So this is hard to admit. The thing that made the business successful can become the thing that slow it down today, right? The older offer still sells, but takes more effort. The old brand still have trust, but less energy. The old systems still work, but create frictions. The old customers base still buys, but guess got new buyers are harder to win. And back to the Ferrari case, how many new buyers are going to get into Ferraris? I don't know. But the old leadership rhythm still feels familiar, but the decisions are slower because where is the edge here that is going to be the thing that entice people to become your customer if they are not, or reinforce their decision if they are already your customers? So but what does all what market sees is perhaps this thing that Ferrari is trying to do. They saw aging, irrelevant for the time, something easily replaceable, and that the gap all of a sudden become very dangerous because from a full power engine petrol vehicle to a full vehicle, electric vehicle with a very, very iPhone kind of style designed, well, you never know. Anyway, problem number two: the future is being discussed but not governed. This is what I mentioned. Like lots of businesses talk, lots of businesses talk about AI. They talk about new markets. They talk about digital products. They talk about partnerships. They talk about international growth. They talk about succession. They talk about new customer needs. But talking is not the same as governing, right? So if there is no budget, no answer, no test, no stop roll or kill switch, or no board review, it's not a strategy. It's just a conversation. And is that a very efficient conversation driving to somewhere, or is just a talk for the sake of the talk? So it feels, I don't know if you had that feeling that sometimes you go into meetings and it feels that everybody's forcing the conversation, trying to drive a conversation to make the hour that the meeting was scheduled. That is not productivity. That is something that has to be reviewed. Your hour is more valuable doing something else than having that hour in the meeting talking for the sake of talking without any purpose. And if you've been in those kind of meetings, please review it because you're not making any difference there, really. Problem number three: the business is missing a stronger value story, right? A value business needs more than profits. It needs to show what it owns. It needs to show it can run without you as a founder in every key decision. It needs to show that its value can travel into new clients, new sectors, new regions, or new products. So this is the three things that matters. And they protect your value, transferability of your leadership, and scalable market range. If one of this is missing, the valuation story is starting to get weaker. I mean, I'm talking about the valuation of your organization. So, as a board advisor, what I would propose is the following. First, start by naming what is aging, right? Before going into a full electric vehicle at Ferrari, probably you should do this exercise. Not everything, don't talk about everything but is aging. Do not make it dramatic. Pick the honest areas. Is the brand still sharp? Is the offer still easy to sell? Are younger buyers responding or not? Are the system making work easier or heavier the activities that the company is performing? Are senior people bringing fresh thinking or, and I'm not saying compliant thinking, I'm saying fresh thinking. And let's go back to the Ferrari example. Are you testing new markets properly? Are you protecting what makes the business different? Or are you building leaders who can carry the next chapter, right? So then you choose one proper future bet. So not 10, only one. Choose one bet. Where are you going to put your efforts? And then you can in somehow dilutes the risk, because you don't go for 10 projects at the same time. You go one at a time and with a very clear go no go stages. So then you don't get committed to something that is not going to work. So it is, what is it? It's a new channel, a new partner market, a new service line, a new data set, a better client journey, a new pricing model, a new international test. What is it, that one thing that can make the company thrive and make it more relevant to the market today? And then you obviously bring that to the advisory board that should help to put this together in a 90-day test run. You have to run test this for 90 days to see what are the data is coming back. What are we testing? What will it cost, or how much is going to cost? Who owns it? You have to have accountable people for this. What will make the invest more? Us to invest more if the results are showing that worth future investment or not? What will make us stop? This is very important, probably the most important question. Which is the barrier here? Which is the boundary? Which is the gate? When we stop, what evidence matters to decide to continue, go, no go? This is how you keep the edge without gambling the business. The goal is not to chase every trend. The goal is to stop the business being surprised by change. So you respond to the market instead of being reactive to the market. So this is pretty much where the edge is of the organization, when you start to handle the ambiguity and the uncertainty in a very, very well organized manner, so it doesn't catch you by surprise. So what do you gain working with me? So 3 things: business outcomes, differentiators, and risk reductions. In terms of outcomes, you gain the board-owned view of future value. So you see what is aging. You choose the right bets, meaning the project that you're going to follow or not. You set the kill switch or the invest or the go, no go rules. You have to put those in place. You create a simple transformation scorecard that connects strategy to real performance, right? In terms of differentiators, here's the interesting thing. That international advisory board operating system brings international advisors into thinking into the business at the right time. And when you may say, well, we are a local company, we are a national company, why we need an international advisory board? And I give you an example. The past 2 weeks, I've been studying metal fabricator manufacturers and welding companies, big industrial companies. And guess what? This is in a very specific Northeast geography in the US. I have people in the UK, I have people in Northern Ireland, and I have people in Spain that they do this very similar job. But their approach to business is completely different. How they gain market, how they make it relevant, how they gain through the trends of the industry. What is the machines that are using, the machines are not using, how they renovate their plant, etc., is completely different the way they do it in the US. And guess what? I brought a few ideas and they were like, oh, that is quite interesting, right? Because you have a business that been running with your family, and mostly these businesses are run by families, for the past 40, 50, some of them 110 years, and they haven't changed the way that they've done for so far. Yeah, they modernized their machinery, the technique, the new innovations, etc. But in terms of business, they haven't improved much, because they see the same things in the same customer base for many, many years in the same way, right? So this is very important. So what the board changes, what the board, when you want to scale, how you manage your capital, how you manage your risk, how you reinvent your business, and how you make faster implementation. Instead of hiring one executive, you can hire a team of people that see the company from many different angles. And that helps you to reduce your risk. So the past successes turning into future drag, that is very common. And I give you an example here, in numerical example. One company was very proud to tell me, say, we've been a 10 million company Doesn't matter what for the past 25 years. We are a family-owned company, very proud of our values, and $10 million was our. It doesn't matter what happened with the economy, the wars. We always booked 10 million revenue per year. So here's a different thinking. You lost 5.3 millions, and you're losing today 5.3 millions per year because the currency valuation today decreased from 25 years ago to now to 48%. So you managed to do something amazing, which is to keep the company at a $10 million revenue mark for the past 25 years. But actually, what happened with the currency value? It devaluated. So actually, what it worth 10 million 25 years ago, today worth 5.5 million, right? So allegedly, your company should be in the revenue of 15, 16 million a year today after 25 years, just to keep the value that you brought to the organization 25 years ago. You see the difference there. Just the currency, just the thinking. Just the thinking. This is not a reckless thinking. This is a very strategic thinking. So yeah, it is a proud moment for anybody to say, regardless, and I don't discounting the merit of being a very steady operation for 25 years. What I'm saying is actually perhaps you are leaving a lot of money, probably effectively you are leaving just in currency exchange, a lot of money on the table, like 5.5 million or so, in around that figure. So just that thinking brings you to think, whoa, okay, so what I can acquire with 10 million 25 years ago, early 2000s, can I acquire the same things today? No, you can't. You can't. Definitely you can't. So just looking from that point of view, then you start to see that the same organization use the past glories and reinforce the past glories all the time to be that mid-level company that doesn't go beyond the 10 million mark. Is that an achievement? Absolutely yes. We are not going to discuss that. But effectively, can we think this in a different way? Yes, we can. And that's why an international advisory board can bring this together and make it very good. Now, one action you can take home today, and is doable in 30 minutes or less. Write this sentence. Our business will lose its edge if we do not fix ... So it's one sentence. What will lose your edge if you don't fix what is the thing that you need to fix? So finish that sentence 5 times. So you can have 5 options for each sentence. And keep it plain. Don't dress it up. Don't make it very difficult. Just very, very simple. Then choose the answer that feels most unpleasant, if you may, and most, but at the same time, most useful. And now ask, what small changes you have to do or test in the next 90 days that it give you a real evidence that those changes are going to propel you into the next future with a certainty, with a drive, and with a business outcomes that are measurable, right? So this is your first edge experiment, if you want, or your first edge test. So let's pause it here for today and reconvene tomorrow. Next week, because today is Friday. And so you do not build, let me give you this final message. You do not build a stronger company by making you as a founder work harder. You build it by turning judgment, assets, controls, capital, and future bets into a system that the business can use, right? So if you're a founder, you're in an advisory board already, or you're part of an executive committee, your company has 50 or more employees and more than 10 million in revenue, and you want to move from dependencies in the founder, your team, or your family to a sharper advisory board rhythm, let's have a 30-minute chat so I can understand where you're coming from, where you are, where you want to go. And so with that, we can design an advisory board that suits your company and aiming to bring 25% revenue increases and 18% more productivity. And these are numbers I can explain you privately because are very doable. And this is doing by a faster implementation than hiring one executive, lower overhead than a big consulting firm, not talent locked in, and swappable members every 6 months. So have a great weekend, and we'll talk